Oi boys, welcome to another video on the channel. It is update day or night depending on where you are in the world. First and foremost, before we dive into what's changed, they did release a roadmap. It is for what's to come in the next couple of months. We have two major updates, and in between we have minor updates, and that's what went live today. So looking forward, before we dive into the patch notes, coming up in July, we do have gameplay feedback improvements, additional teams, further player photogrammetry, and additional stadiums. August, we have gameplay feedback improvements, player and team creator, so that'll be the Rugby Academy. That's Rugby 25's version of the League Live series fan hub. Additional licensed competition, so one comp coming, and further player photogrammetry. Speaking of the player photogrammetry, I have been seeing plenty of people, I won't say whinge about it, I will say show a bit of passion, because I get it. Rugby gaming has been in a drought much longer than Rugby League, and we're all craving for a game that plays as good as it looks. But yeah, there's a lot of people saying they'd rather see them focus on gameplay over the photogrammetry. I do want to say this, guys, they can focus on both. They do have separate teams working on both, and if you want to see them focus on gameplay, or if you want to see some gameplay improvements, that's pretty much what this early access is for. I believe the game won't come out on console for quite some time, so if you do have any constructive criticism or gameplay ideas, head over to that Big Ant Rugby 25 forum. And now on to the patch notes. So I have been playing a few games, and in the background you'll be seeing gameplay from this patch, and we'll just run through the patch notes and I'll give my thoughts on what's been addressed. So we'll work our way from the bottom up. Up at the top of the list are I'd say the major gameplay improvements. So starting from the bottom, they've got general stability improvements, improved game stability and non-progression issues, and in brackets, game not advancing and plays not able to complete, particularly during the ruck. And that was a biggie for me. In every game I was getting that ruck glitch where I couldn't get the ball out, and of the few games I've played around 5 games now, it hasn't happened once, so that's a W for that change. Next on the list, they have adjusted night match start time, a reduction in the occurrence of harsh shadows due to some matches beginning at dusk before the lights would turn on. That explained why the night games before this patch looked pretty terrible. The gameplay in the background will be a night game, by the way. It just looks so much better, so much clearer. Next up, corrected competition mode scoring. Basically, new custom competition mode saves will utilize the correct 4 points for a win and 2 points for a draw. Next up, corrected controls screen and settings text. They corrected mislabeled controls, including the side camera option being labeled high, and omitted controls including the B button for a tackle. That explains a lot, because I really thought that you could only perform the dive tackle with that right stick. Someone did tell me that I had to press B, and before this update, pressing B didn't really feel like I was doing anything. I don't know if there's an input delay because of my PS4 controller, or PS5 controller, sorry, or if it's my PC or the game itself. But now it feels perfect. Minimal delay, and the tackles are pretty sticky. That's not because of what I just read out, right? That's just the text and them missing the B button in the controls list. Seeing as we've already talked about the tackling, or my tackling experience, we'll go through all of the, bigger gameplay improvements. They did improve ruck join speed. Attacking players will join the ruck faster, that is super noticeable. Players pretty much join the ruck instantly, but there's a new, bug. Basically, it takes the scrum half ages to get to the ball. Now, although the ruck join speed has improved, the delay with the scrum half getting to the ball still makes the breakdown last way too long. Next up, they have improved passing, and in brackets that's ongoing, so there'll be tweaks to that up until final release, I'm assuming. So it says improved passing ball trajectory and player timing of their runs, reduced missed passes, improved passing from the ruck. I gotta be honest, to this, I'm not really seeing much of a difference or an improvement, especially with the player timing of their runs. The reduced missed passes, that's pretty noticeable, and the passing from the ruck, I'm a little iffy on still. Overall, the passing experience still feels a little janky to me, and I don't think it's the passing that's the issue, it's the player spacing. Our players are just always crowding the ruck when we have possession, and because we can't set the line depth or width, I find myself struggling with basic passes and cutout passes. So I think player spacing needs to be addressed in the next little patch, because overall it's ruining the flow of the game. But yeah, that's where I'm at with the improved passing. still needs plenty of tweaking. As for the improved tackling, that's like the passing is ongoing. It says improved tackle effectiveness, reducing simple running around the AI, and improved user tackles. That is all tick 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 for me. As for what I want to see in the first major updates, gameplay related, we need to suss this rucking system out. Like I was saying, if it's going to be simple, it has to be flawless. And at the moment, it is a little inconsistent for my liking, especially defending. Sometimes we can get a turnover, but most of the time, I get stuck in defense and the game turns into a tackle simulator while the computer strings together a double digits amount of phases. Take the gameplay in the background, for instance, as an example. We played until like the 120th minute, and pretty much for the whole second half I was stuck in defense. So yeah, the ruck still needs major attention. All aspects of the ruck. Passing has improved, and it is nice if you can get your targeted passing icons to show. It just takes a while for everything to settle in and for players to get set up. I think if they focus on the spacing and if they add the line depth and width, we'll get a much smoother experience. The pick and go is another area that needs a lot of attention. It feels a lot like Rugby League Live 4. There's like a slight delay when you go for a run out of dummy half, and I'm seeing that in this game as well. It's such a hard thing to nail in a video game, the rugby ruck. And I do hope they can sort it out because, like I said previously, I do think this game has a lot of potential for more detailed improvements. There is plenty of great feedback surrounding this on the forum. Speaking of the forum, we will end it with this. The CEO, Ross Simons, did reply to all the Rugby League Live animations comments. There are meant to be quote-unquote backup animations that come from Rugby League Live 4, only to be used when no new rugby animation was appropriate for the situation. But there are a few issues in animation selection found by coders today, which is the wrong ones being used. When this is fixed, you will very rarely, if at all, see a Rugby League animation. So I'll be keeping an eye out for that whenever they address it in the patch notes, because I know damn near every single animation in the Rugby League games. And I've been seeing a lot more of them with this patch. So I've seen comments about sidestepping. I wonder if this pertains to that, because with the sidestepping and the evasions in general, like defending and the shoulder charging, those are ripped straight from the League Live series. And I've seen some new sidesteps, like actual sidestepping animations, not the reactions to the sidestep. Well, it's not so much new, it's from Rugby 22, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I might have to dust that one off and refamiliarize myself, because gameplay wise, that game was pretty fun, and I am a little surprised they didn't use any of those gameplay mechanics, because I thought they had the best controls for any rugby game period, including 08, especially when it came to the set piece and the ruck. It just wasn't really pick up and play friendly, and I do see a lot of Rugby League Live 4 comparisons when it comes to gameplay and stuff, but it feels nothing like League Live 4. It feels more like Rugby League Live 3, which gameplay wise did lean towards the more arcadey style. That's the feel I get from this game, and like I said, if they do lean towards more of the arcadey stuff, the gameplay has to be perfect. Once they smooth out the ruck and the general flow of the game, I'll be interested to see how they add depth to the gameplay for the more hardcore fans, whether it be set plays, setting up the depth and width of your line, pods, using your forwards more, like the rolling more we haven't seen yet. There's still plenty to look forward to after all this ironing out of the, I guess, general play. But yeah, we're gonna wrap up this video here before we go off on another tangent. Early access minor patch number 1 was a step in the right direction, and I'm feeling pretty good about what this game could potentially look like in a couple of months. As always, if you did enjoy that, be sure to run straight to that like button, and for more rugby related content or more content in general, go ahead and drop your boy a cheeky sub. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you later.